So we're looking in today's video at Omnichannel for customer service, and we're looking at the chat feature. This is a nice little widget that will sit on your website, and it enables you to interact with your clients, either unauthenticated users, Joe Public, or if you embed this on an existing Microsoft portal and the user's already logged in, then we can automatically link this record to that individual person. What is it for and why are people using it? Well, it helps you increase your turnover if you're using it for a sales capacity. It helps you improve and increase client satisfaction, maximize your agent's productivity, and it just makes your company more efficient. We can set up the chat feature on multiple channels. So just to show you here, this is what we're looking at today, chat. It's a chat widget where we're going to talk to the client. You can do SMS text messaging as well. That's another channel. Facebook, Line, Twitter, WeChat, and WhatsApp. But today's video is on chat. Hopefully we can bring some of these other videos down the line. And it starts off with the Omnichannel for customer service app, like so. The agent logging in to this area will have 3 of these main tabs as their dashboards. You can see we're just looking at this Insights tab here. It's just giving us an overview about the average wait time per conversation, handle time, are we exceeding, and obviously if you are using multiple channels and not just the chat channel, you can see all the information I have in this one. Open, closed conversations, the ones where our agents are just wrapping up the conversation. It's all in here under WeChat. Obviously if we had any Facebook streams, then we'd see those in here as well. So it's just a nice way of analysing your data, looking at your wait times, things like that. This is all out of the box. We've got another one on here as well for the agents. So we've got agent insights like this, and this will just show you, a list of your users in the system. In this scenario, I've got 5 or 6 users. I can see Chris is offline, Fiona's offline, Mark's offline, but actually Martin and Peter are currently probably on shift at the minute, and they're taking these calls that are inbound. I can see Peter's working on 1 actively, and it looks like I've got 2 that I'm wrapping up, and I've closed 7 today. So this is my handle time over here. A couple of things that we then got over here is we've got the agent's dashboard, like so. This will show you a list of your existing work items, things that you're working on, and you can see equally these are over here. You can set up capacity for each agent as well. So one agent might be able to take 5 or 6 different inquiries all in one go. I've got 2 open. This one's just coming on the website. I've got the ability to then go and pick that and assign it to myself as well as if I need to. I'll show you how the notification comes in a second. These are the ones I've closed off previously today. Quite rightly, as I said, you can see over here, if I click into this one, for example, I can then start chatting back with the client. When I'm waiting for their response, I might flick over to my next channel over here. I can then start writing back to these guys as well. If I click end, you can see it will end the conversation and it will say I've ended it. But this one looks like actually the client's now just gone offline. While I've been talking to you, they probably got fed up and they've said no, they've disappeared. And you see it says customer has now ended the conversation. So I can now do what we call a wrap up. So where we just saw those other, you can see the statuses here. So you can see it says open, active. These are the agents they're logged with. This individual here for Ian is in wrap up. What that means is I've either ended the conversation so the client can't carry on typing to me, or they've ended it their end. What it means is I can then go through and add additional information. I can add some notes to my record. I can go and update some details on his customer record if I need to. I could add follow-up activities and everything else. So it's in a wrap-up status. And when I'm then finished with it, I just click over here and I close the conversation off. So I've now finished all my details. This then goes in as a closed option. If I just refresh this here, you'll see it will go as closed, and over here we'll then see there it is. So it's now gone in as closed work item. Again, you can see I'd do the same thing with Ray. I would have all these details, and then eventually I'd finish this off and I'd close this session off. It goes away from then my work items. There's nothing in my list now. And you can see because my capacity allows it, I've now got this incoming chat request over here coming in because I've got no active things. And I've said if you're completely available, we've got this status option at the top here. If you're available, then obviously you can take incoming conversations coming through the web. If this was do not disturb, you can set these up in the background as well and how you want to do that. If I now say, okay, I'm going to accept this, I just click on here. takes me into the chat transcript with the client. And if I just flick over here, I'll show you what this looks like from the client's end. So this is the widget. So you can see if I just minimize it down here, a couple of things we can do with the widget. Obviously, where it says let's chat, you can customize what that looks like. You can customize the icon here. You can customize the color scheme as well. And where it says we're online, you have got the ability to set up your working hours as well. So there's a few different options you can have around that. The first thing that will happen is the client will go on here and it will say, obviously the agent will be with you in a moment. It will tell you, you know, if there's 4 or 5 people in front of you in the queue. Again, this is a feature you can turn on or off. I've just left it that, you know, where you just saw that incoming call and I clicked accept. By doing so, it's then said the name of the agent has joined the conversation. This was my message I just typed in here. You know, if this person is running, the agent here is taking their time, then you could say, you know, something else. Are you there? Are you still there? Blah, blah, blah. And they can send that in. Then when we flick back over here, like so, then you can see it's coming back in here to the agent that's picked this up. Now, because this is an unauthenticated user, they haven't logged into the portal, we don't know who they are. All we can see here is the fact that it says visitor 6. It's unique. If we ask them some information, so we've asked them to fill out some details, then we could have quite easily grabbed the email address and we can search for the person over here. Equally, you can go in here and you can search your whole database for somebody. So if I say this is Jim, you know, like so, or James, then you can see it's searching your contacts database that you've got in your database already. Failing that, it might be a completely new request. Then you click new contact. You might create them as an account. If I click new contact now, you can see the customer summary still sits over here, but it opens this on a new tab. We can then grab some more details around this, and we could just say, okay, it's Joe Smithers, something like that, blah, blah, blah. And then if they've given us any more details, then we can, you know, customize this form and we can add those details in. If I click save and close now, what you'll see is it's now created Joe Smithers as a contact in your database. Now over here, your channel is set to Joe Smithers. What we can then do after this is we will be able to look at this contact record and we'll be able to see the conversation history on the timeline. But a couple of things that it's going to now do. It's going to tell us the waiting time that we've got in here. It will tell us the visitor's details. So we can have an option to turn on the ability to ask the person who's coming in what location they are, and we can look for their geographical location. We can fill this in. Based on this, it might be that then you need to channel it to the certain agent or a certain queue or a certain team. But it's going to give you a few other things in here as well, the visitor's language, where they're coming from, and what queue they got assigned to. So when I say about queues, we've got this concept over here in the background of queues. So you can see we've got a queue here for support, licensing queries, training. Each of these queues, you would have different agents assigned to them. So I've got 2 users assigned to this support queue. They might be people that are taking support queries. You can see the hours we've set up in here as well. You could also have skill sets set up as well. So if you didn't want it to go in there, you could have different types of skills that if you've asked the person what type of person they're looking for, you can have some routing rules and then route it to the right agents that are available based on their statuses. That will then feed into the right person or the right queue. So coming back over here, you can see this is what it's saying. It's just gone into the default queue and we've allowed somebody to either manually pick it up or go onto the thing and assign it to themselves like you saw previous. We've now got the ability, once this is coming here, to then start doing what we call some quick replies. So the agent can click on here, this little tab, and they can then say, you know, they can have an opening message like so. You can have as many of these in the system as you need to. It's picking up the language. So you can see here the visitor's language, and it knows which, it's already doing a conversion. You can have as many of these languages packs as you need in the system, and it will just convert this based on the language that they've typed to you, because it's recognizing that from the context here. If I just then say, you know, something like hello, I can then say, how may I assist you? Something like that. And then again, if we, you know, was to go back on that, you would see it at the other end. I won't keep flicking backwards and forwards between the two. The client can then come back and ask you some more questions. And then, of course, we can reply with it in here. A couple of things we can then do. We can say, okay, initiate consult with another agent or another supervisor. If I click on it here, then, you know, based on those other people that you just saw that were available, not the people that are offline, Peter's clearly available. He's got nothing in his queue at the minute. I could add him to this conversation, then he can then start consulting and he can write his things his end. Just to show you, over here, I'm logged in as Peter, and you can now see consult request with Joe. So he gets the incoming, you know, accept or reject as well over here on from his end. Equally, those things that you saw there, accept or reject, you can change the terminology. It could be allow, do not allow, answer, unanswer, you know, decline, whatever you want to call it. And you can also have desktop notifications on that as well. So it'll pop up in your desktop and tell you that this person's available, somebody's there. The other thing we can also do is set up sound notifications. So if you've got headsets on, you can have different sounds for different channels in your ear, so you know that there's another request coming through the chat website. So that's the consult with another agent. I'm just going to reject that at the other end. The other option we've then got, you can see because he's rejected it, it's telling me that the consultant's rejected it here, so I can carry on with this. We've got the option of transferring as well. So you can see we go transfer here like so. That will then load up. And again, you can see it will show you available agents, and I could transfer this to Peter, and then he takes it out of my list and it gets assigned to him. Equally, if I went to queue, I could transfer this back to another queue that somebody there could go and pick from the queue. You can see that you get the little option here to transfer it in between the two options. This one here is taking notes. So you can see over here, I can start adding notes against this. This will be for my internal purposes. I can then store this against this conversation, and then we can look at this down the line. I can just add some details in here, and I can add a note against this. It just gets added against this conversation as an internal note. The client won't see that. The other options we've then got as well, so we can link this to another conversation that we've already had, because it might have been that we were talking with, say, Joe, something else down the line, and she wants to link it to an existing chat that we had. We can do that. The other thing we can also do is, if we're working on a support capacity, and this is about a support requirement, we can click on the knowledge base articles like so, like you can do already in the existing customer service hub. We can then search for all of our knowledge base articles like this. So I just search in here, this would pull up all of my records. A couple of things I could do is I could email this from here. I can pop it out and look at more details. Or if I actually click on the individual record like so, then what we can do is we can pop this out and read it. Or we can click on the send URL here. It's done it yet. And what it's then done, you can click send URL. It then just pastes that URL into the window. You can then send this to the client. They get it there and they can click on it. They can go, okay, that's great. Thanks for sending this across, or whatever else it is. The other option we've then got also in here is we can click on internal. Now I could say, I could find an agent, Peter, for example, or anybody else, and I could ask a message. Anyone who's available can then reply to this. So I could just reach out to them, guys, please help, something like so. And then anyone else who's available can then reply to me. It's in a slightly different color, as you can see. And what this enables us to then do is grab whatever one of my colleagues has sent to me. I could copy this, flick it back to public, and then I could paste my details in here and send it back to the client. So it's a way of helping different things like so. If I now flick back to the actual client from the other end, you can see there's the knowledge base article I sent back to the person. This person's okay. That's fantastic. We'll take a look, or something like that. We can send that across. If I then show you that's now coming back in here, what we now start to do is we start to actually then analyze the sentiment. You know, because he's put the word fantastic in here, it's got a bit of AI and it knows that he's actually, you know, quite positive with the responses that we're giving. Now, if I was just to put something like, I'm not happy, equally, you'll see the sentiment now changes to being slightly negative. So the client's clearly not happy. Again, we can then send out a reply. You know, thank you for waiting. I've got more information. Thanks for chatting. Goodbye. We could then send this across, and then we could end this chat, for example. So you can go backwards and forwards as many times as you need to. We can now end this. And now, as I said previously, this now puts this in a wrap up state. So if we were to just look over here, you can see the status of this is now in wrap up, because I can still leave this channel open and I can then go and analyze my notes. What I can also then do over here is I might want to now raise a case internally for one of our agents to then pick up, and manage and resolve this person's issue going forward. If we do that, then we just get a case created in the system. And of course, the conversation history is now over here. You can see we've got the timeline, and this is all the details against that. If I just showed you, if I click into Joe, this takes us to the individual contact. Same as anything else in Dynamics, you can see it's the contact form, and we've got the timeline. If anyone needs to look at this breadcrumb trail of all the phone calls and emails you've had previous, and they want to see the conversation that we've had, then we can click into it from here. This will show us every single thing that we've said. It will tell us the time and date that this chat has happened, the channel they got assigned to, the queue, the status of it currently, the agent that worked on this. We will then see the chat transcript in here in a second once I actually close this off. And then we can obviously download it. Now equally, the other end, the client, it says this is now ended. You've got the option here as well for the client to then either be emailed the conversation, or they can download the chat transcript themselves from this end. Again, it's a feature we can turn on or off. That's that. Because I've ended the conversation, it's in wrap up. I'm now happy that I've added all my additional notes. I can now go on here and I can then close this off. And it actually closes this off. You can see it's now gone off my thingy. As before, you see if I just give that a refresh, it will go off my work items list, and it will become over here. It will be in a closed item. Just quickly refresh that again. There we go. It's closed. Any one time I could go back in and I can open this up, because I might need to reactivate it if I need to. But as you can see now, because we've closed it and it's gone from wrap up status to closed status, we've now got the chat transcript in here, and we can quickly download this at any one time. That is Omnichannel customer service for chat. It's got a lot of extra features that we can actually enable. If you want to stick around for another minute or two, I can quickly take you through those few extra things. A lot of the frequent asked questions that we get, we can quickly just cover off now as well. So if we just show you, we've got the Omnichannel for customer service, and as you saw at the beginning, we've got the Omnichannel administration area as well. So what we've got is, we've got this chat feature in here. We can set up different chat widgets for different parts of your website if need be. This thing here, like so, you can see, the agent's full name. Do we want to use a nickname, first name, surname? Do we want to have different authentication settings in here that we can have? Do we want to allow the download of the transcript? Do we want to email it to the client, providing they've given us an email address? Yes or no? You can see a couple other things in here as well. This person then comes back online and they reconnect with us. Do we want to then enable this for previous chat? We've got this surveying option. I didn't show you this, but we've added a question in here. So if I just show you this on my other screen, just to show what this looks like, I've just added this in. This is, instead of them asking us questions, what we can actually do is ask the client some questions up front, and then we can channel this to the right agent with the right skill set or into the right queue. So I'll just bring this over here. You can see if I click on here now, let's chat, then as before where we just said you're in, fifth in the queue or we're waiting for this agent, what we've actually got is the ability to pick a set of questions. Now you can have drop down options in here. You can say, please give me your email address, please give me your order number, your account number, whatever it is you're asking for. If I now say pick support, for example, like so, and I submit this, then you can see it says again another automated email, a message that comes back. An agent will be with you in a moment. If I now just minimize this, then when we actually see this coming in, you can see accept or reject it, because this person here is a member of the support queue. If we come back over here and show you this in the middle section, this will be then assigned, well, eventually in a second, this will be assigned. I've still got this person open. Let me just come off of there. This will then be assigned to somebody that's in the support queue, because you can have some routing rules set up. So you can see if I just come back down here and just show you what this would look like, you can see we've got a set of routing rules. So, based on this routing rule that we've got here, it's the support queue. I'm saying, well, that question type, if that equals support, then route it to this queue. And there's a few other things that we can do around that as well. So if you've got more than one queue, you can have more than one routing rule. Vice versa, you can have as many of these rule items in here as you need to. We've also got a list of all those quick replies associated just to this individual work stream. So again, it's that location, and it's 22 replies, the ones that we were looking at actively sending back into the client. And then obviously if you want to match this on skill sets, you can have matching logic based on a set of skills that your agents have got, and it will get routed in that manner as well. We've got the ability to push it. Again, you can see the presence. So, you know, only give it to somebody who's available. If you want to give it to people that are away, then great, you can, but it probably won't get answered. So you can actually set those up in here like so. Again, keep the same agent for the entire conversation. You might not want to be able to transfer that to somebody else, or to, you know, to work with somebody else on this. There's a few other options in here like so. And then the last thing, just to show you, if we click back over here into the little widget area where you saw before all these other areas, we've got conversation options in here as well. You can see, do we want to enable video and voice calls? Then fine, we just say yes, enable that, you know, video and voice, or voice only. Do you want to co-browse? So do we want to take charge of the client's machine and start pointing to things on their screen? We can, and we can do screen sharing as well. Again, it's just features that you guys can turn on or off as and when you see fit. On the location here, widget location, you can see request visit a location. If we say yes, then it will obviously just pull in that data. We can assign it to the right team based on that. And then the design option here as well, you can see you can change the logo in here. Just got this nice SVG logo. It's a blue theme, and this is where you saw originally it said let's chat, we're online. You know, you can set this up yourself. And where does it sit on the website? I've just put it as bottom right in here for this scenario. Thanks for listening, guys, and feel free to get in touch if you've got any questions around the Omnichannel chat. And equally, if you liked what you saw in the video today, please feel free to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our Preact channel below. Many thanks.